I'd like to learn more about the duty visits by the Secretary. Well, we understand that Mr. Ng goes on a lot of duty visits. We have another record this year, 17 times. And for length of stay, up to 38 days, another record. So over the past few years, the total expenditure amounted to over $3 million. In the last term, Mr. Michael Kin was the former secretary, and he only went on about a dozen to 20 visits. Mr. Ng, however, has gone on 54 visits, then that's 3 times the previous secretary. And I don't know whether Mr. Michael Kin was less diligent or that he was lazy. I just want to know why you're so keen on duty visits. I mean, we don't understand. When I look for information, I feel perplexed, and I'd like to make a comparison. I'm actually referring to EDB 147. Comparing to the reply given to us 3 or 4 years ago, we find that the figures don't tally. For example, from 2012 to 2013, according to EDB 1016, and that's the reply given in 2014, the figure stood at $1.1 million. But now the figure only stands at 560,000, and that's just half of the figure. And also for 2013-14, about the duty visits, according to the reply given in 2015, the amount was $1.51 million. Now the figure quoted is just 680,000. Again, just half of that amount previously quoted. Why is it that despite we asked for the same piece of information, there is such a big difference? Is it because you have used another formula, or are you trying to conceal something? Are you trying to suppress the figure in some way? I think that the matter is very serious. So, Secretary, please explain to us. Who would like to take the question? Or Secretary, would you like to take the question? Well, my response is that I would go back and check the figures first. But let me respond. When we first began duty visits, sometimes we would go on duty visits with other delegations or other organizations. So if you ask about the whole delegation, then that might be one set of figures quoted. And if you ask about the Secretary's office, and that's the set of actual figures quoted on this occasion. So depending on the questions asked, the set of figures may have been different. But anyway, I can go back and check the figures.
I think that's what you think. So you're saying that it wasn't standard, and now you have standardized it. Now, we are always asking about the total sum spent by the Secretary plus his entourage. So he's saying that he couldn't answer the question off the cuff, and he's just trying to think of the reason. So please tell us about the information as soon as possible. But what about the point about comparison with Mr. Michael Kin? Thank you for your question. For the past 4 years or so, if you add together the number of new initiatives, then there are many more. Say, for example, quality kindergarten education, as well as vocational and professional education and training. We need international benchmarking. We need international cooperation. We need to study overseas models. Mr. Yip, your time is up.